Alvin, ketchup chips, Swish, or brick?
I might have to go with brick. Only time I've ever had ketchup on my chips was by a mistake. If it touched my hot dog or burger or something. I never even heard of a ketchup chip. So.
Dwight Powell. Whoa, that is how you throw it down. Here's Powell hammering that one home. Oh, my goodness.
I never saw him being this good.
What a great kid and a proud Canadian.
Once again, we focus on celebrating Canadians in the great game of basketball, this time around on Basketball Central, but more importantly, off the top, Rogers Sports and Media has launched a new initiative, Hearts and Smiles. Go to heartsandsmiles.ca. You can purchase t-shirts and masks, with all proceeds going to help the frontline workers doing the great work throughout this pandemic for all of us across the country. A little later, Jason Thom joins Michael Grange and I to discuss Canadians and the prospects, the players we may see as stars in the NBA down the line, and then Swishes and Bricks, another edition with Alvin Williams, Eric Smith, and Danielle Michaud. And speaking of Alvin, here he is with Dwight Powell.
Here with Dwight Powell, man. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. These times, man, it's tough times. How are you making out during this COVID-19? I know it's tough for everyone, but how are you hanging in there?
I'm doing what I can. Staying positive. Obviously, keeping busy with this rehab, trying to make sure this Achilles comes back the right way, and not rushing it. I don't have anything to rush back to right now, so just taking my time and focusing on that.
Of course, I have to ask you play with a lot of talent, with you fitting right into that piece of the puzzle. Luka Doncic, how is it playing with a talent, such a young guy with that much talent? How is it playing with that guy?
I mean, it's fun. I mean, I think it looks that way for you guys, and it's just as fun, if not more, than it seems. I mean, he just has such a crazy feel for the game, and the whole Luka magic thing. It's real. He really gets out there and he has fun with the game, and he shares that fun with us just by moving the ball and seeing situations before they're happening. And he's a competitor too, which is great. I think we've had some rough years here in Dallas, and the city has been amazing in supporting us through them. And obviously the legacy that Dirk has left here is bigger than life. So I think these last couple of years have been really important in kind of passing of the torch and kind of the changing over of this franchise. So he's done an amazing job of stepping up into a leadership role at such a young age. And performing at obviously the level that he's performing is incredible. So it's been fun for sure.
So you've had the privilege and to play with a Dirk Nowitzki and a young guy like this. What have that experience been like? How has that helped your game, and how have you matured? What have you taken from someone like a Dirk?
Unique is really the only way I can describe it. He's a very unique superstar in the way he carries himself and his work ethic and the way he interacts. So for my first year, I really just sat back and just watched him as much as I could. I would sit and watch his workouts, how he performed in the games, what he would do in practice, and the things that he would do to prepare himself for games in practice. And it was a massive motivation for me to realize that this guy, who's at the time was in his 16th, 15th year, whatever it was still grinding and like putting in like how I was thinking I was working hard, putting 50, 60 reps before a break on one shot, trying to just perfect one move and then go into another move, and 50, 60 reps at one move, and like breaking the game down to such small pieces at that age. To me, I was like, all right, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing, because I need to find a way to tap into that, because at his age and the accolades he had already received, that level of dedication, that's what I learned was what greatness was. Right. That's what I wanted to aspire to achieve. He really set the foundation and kind of built the archetype of what it means to be a Mav, and that is to be part of the community, not just take, but to give back. And he showed me that from day one, and I've tried my best to kind of emulate that.
I've been a fan, still a fan, love watching you play, love your development, love how you're expanding your game. and showing these guys what you got out here. So it's a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing for your community and for yourself and everything like that moving forward. Thank you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir.
He's showing out for all of Canada right now.
Canadian basketball has never been better in the NBA.
There's been a big surge in Canadian players over the last 10 years.
There are so many players playing at a very high level.
How about it? The kids are all right.
Previously on Basketball Central, we discussed the all-time lineup, first and second team for Canada in its history. And it was interesting how many current players were on that list. Today, a director of North Pole Hoops, Canada's longest-running high school scouting service, Jason Thom, joins us along with Michael Grange as we look to the present and really more to the future, Michael. 16 Canadians on opening night rosters, another 4 on two-way contracts. Of this list, is there a player that you think has the greatest upside?
Tons of choice, tons of upside. If I had to pick one, it would be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from OKC. He just has everything anyone is looking for in a lead ball handler. He's got size, length, great decision-making, ability to get his own shot, ability to do that without kind of dominating and forcing too much, and has shown his ability to play off the ball as well. And in an expanded role now in his second season around the league, other veterans have noticed. And the one thing that jumps out, that pace, that patience, which is really the mark of a guy who's comfortable in his own skin in the NBA. And that's, some guys never get there, and Shai's there in his second year.
Tough to go against Shai, Jason, but who you got?
I'd have to go with RJ Barrett. I mean, we seem to forget how young this kid still is. We've seen him, I know Michael and myself have seen him since he's probably about 4 or 5 years old, and just how much growth this kid has inside of him, how much of that want to get better he can add to his game. I love that he's, quirky as a lefty, gives different angles on guys. He still has a long way to go, and if the Knicks can ever figure things out, and the fact that he was able to do what he did last year in a team that wasn't very good, wait till he gets some pieces around him and he doesn't have to be the main guy all the time. I think RJ Barrett, his ceiling is really, you can't really see it at this point.
Well, let's go right back to you. This is high times for your organization, to be sure. So much of a landscape to choose from. Give us a name, perhaps, of somebody that the general public might not have heard of that we will very soon.
Yeah, instead of going for one name, I just think that the thing I really want to put on everybody's radar is the province of Quebec is really going to be dominating things for Canadian basketball in the near future. They just came off of sweeping the U15 and U17 national championships on the provincial level, and they just have stacked talent the whole way down. And there's some great names like a Benedict Mathurin who's going to Arizona, Jefferson Koulibaly, Washington State. He led Canada in scoring last year across the nation. Olivier Maxence Prosper is going to Clemson. And then I think the real big name for me is Karim Mané right now. He's 20 years old coming out of Quebec. They have a different educational setup there. So he right now could go into the NBA draft, which he's waiting to see if he can get a first-round guarantee. He could go to the G League professional route, or he could still go to the NCAA as a 20-year-old as his first year. And Tom Izzo's been up to Quebec on numerous occasions to see this kid. So it seems like Michigan State there is ready for him, and it's just him deciding which way he wants to go. So, I mean, that's just some names. And as we continue to go down the list, Quebec really is the place to look out for when it comes to talent out of Canada.
Well, Michael, let's take it forward to either the NCAA or the NBA, somebody that you think's ready to explode.
Well, there's, again, so much choice. We got to tip a hat to Brandon Clark, who was born in Vancouver, raised in Arizona. He could be the rookie of the year if it weren't for Ja Morant. But I think just a notch below that, you have to look at Luguentz Dort, who's from Montreal, forced his way into the starting lineup in OKC out of a two-way deal, and is already an elite NBA wing defender. And coming up, I like Andrew Nemheart out of Florida. Just great size for a guard, great decision-making, poise, character, all the intangibles. He's 10 out of 10. And I think as he gets to be a little bit better shooter, a little bit more athletic, I think he's going to find his way into the league.
Amazing stuff outside of the U.S. Canada is most represented in the NBA, with more to come by the sounds of it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got ourselves another edition of Swishes or Bricks. I'm joined by Alvin Williams and Eric Smith again. Hello, fellas. And we're going to start this week with The Last Dance, episode 7. Give us a little peek into Michael Jordan's switch from basketball to baseball. Alvin, I'll start with you. Is Michael Jordan as a baseball player a swish or a brick?
Swish. You know, he got a chance to live out a dream, got a chance to really test himself. And I've heard reports where, you know, if he stuck with it or he played a little longer, he would advance, and he had a chance to play in a big league. So I got to give MJ a swish on that one.
I'm giving it a swish as well, because I figure if you start your baseball career, I don't care if it's AA or the major leagues, and you've got a 13-game hitting streak, you're doing something right. I'm giving him a swish just for even trying it and having to transform his body as well from being a basketball player to a baseball player. Absolute swish.
Yeah, swish for me too, based on his work ethic that was on display, right? Just to even get himself, breaking balls were killing him. Well, what's he doing? He's working on breaking balls all day, all night. I was really impressed with that. Something else that's coming out in Last Dance right now is the fight with Steve Kerr, which everyone has been talking about. Alvin, is it a swish or a brick to fight your teammate? Because you're really, you know, you could say a little more than E and I can on this particular topic.
Oh, it's a swish. You know, it's those things that happen. It's the only unfortunate thing for Steve Kerr. He probably thought it wasn't going to go that far with a punch to the chest, and he didn't think he's going to get clocked in the face. So it probably wasn't the best outcome for Steve, but a lot of times those things happen.
Although I guess I should say, E, like you and I aren't going to get into a fight, right? Like coworker fight, is that a swish or a brick? Probably a brick, right?
Probably a brick, and I don't think I'd want to take your right hook, so I'm just staying away from that.
You're a smart man. I have a strong correlation between major boredom and major creativity because it's been on full display on social media, and really liked this example of a guy doing the NBA on NBC theme song featuring a ping pong ball and pots and pans.
Okay, I was ready to give this a brick because I've seen enough of these things, and maybe it's just because I can't do it, but honestly, if this is what people have to do with their time trying to set up pots and pans, but the fact that he actually then synced it to the NBA on NBC tune, I'll give it a swish.
This is a brick for me only because I would imagine having to listen to this. I'm picturing how annoying it would be until he got it just right, but impressive all the same. This one's a trick shot. And Alvin, I don't know if it deserves a swish or a brick because who's really the star of the trick shot when the assist is coming from an elephant?
All of these things are bricks to me. I told you already, I'm tired of the fun stuff. Now, going back to the ping pong thing, if that ping pong was going in another type of cup with another type of game, that would have been better for me, Vegas style. But all of this stuff, and I'm too much of a skeptic. I don't believe in all this camera stuff. Now that I'm in media, I know a little bit more about editing. I'm not into all that. This guy's flipping from an elephant over a backboard, dunking out brick city all day.
Now this could not have been faked because there is no mercy shown by this mom with the blow-by move behind the back, straight to the rack over what I'm assuming is her son. May he rest in peace.
Well, I'm giving the mom a swish for sure. I'm giving the kid an absolute brick. Mom's got like slip-ons or something. They wear like penny loafers. She's got her Dodge Caravan parked behind her. That's an absolute swish for mom, but I don't care if you're 10 or 20, you can't be letting mom blow by you like that, given the, you know, the kind of two-step and then finishing with the left hand, I believe as well. Absolute swish for mom.
Yeah, that's a swish. And not touching the ball with the right hand, just all in one motion, straight up. That's the things I teach AAU guys that's trying to go to the next level. Mom already has it. Swish all day.
Swish from me too. It's a hard knock life, kid, and you got to learn some lessons from mom. So I like it all the way. Swish for me. All right, so some old videos have been recirculating, and I think it's just because there isn't as much going on. And this one is one of my absolute favorites. It's Jimmy Butler riding shotgun in a McLaren F1 car.
Hey, whoa, relax. Oh! No. I'm gonna pass out. Oh, my stomach's gonna fall out my...
Swish or brick on an experience like that?
That's a swish. I mean, you saw the real live reaction from Jimmy Butler. He was scared to death.
Would you ride shotgun in an F1 car?
I would probably do it, but I'd probably have the same reaction. So for that very reason, I'll give him a Swish as well, because at least he was showing his true self. He wasn't trying to be fake tough guy, so I'll give him a Swish.
Agreed. The Swish for me is that I would love to see a Jimmy Butler reality show. So hopefully that could come in the works. Another old video is John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. at Grizzlies Media Day trying ketchup chips. Now, it's a Canadian staple. Therefore, I start with the American. Alvin, ketchup chips, Swish, or brick?
I might have to go with brick. Only time I've ever had ketchup on my chips was by mistake. If it touched my hot dog or burger or something. I never even heard of a ketchup chip. So their reaction was, it was unbelievable. It was the best thing that God ever created. So, but I'm gonna go with the brick because I've never tasted.
I'm giving it a brick because I'm a weird Canadian. I'll hand in my passport if I have to. I hate ketchup chips.
But we're going 3 for 3, fellas.
Yes.
I also hate ketchup chips. I think they're terrible. And I never understood why everyone liked them so much. So Alvin, you're not missing out. Don't worry. We could send you a bag if you really want to try, but we don't think it's worth it. So yeah, big brick to ketchup chips. Lots of good stuff this week. Thanks for joining, fellas.
Thanks, Danielle.
Always love and welcome your input. The latest in the inbox wanted to know if the NBA should return. Simple question, yes or no. And no leads the way as those votes are now closed. But keep an eye on sportsnet.ca for any further developments on the NBA moving forward to perhaps returning this season. As we told you off the top, Rogers Sports and Media is launching Hearts and Smiles. It's to thank and applaud all frontline healthcare workers. Launched on International Nurses Day, but this is to recognize all of our healthcare workers, those on the front line who we honor. The Canadians across the country can purchase t-shirts and masks or packs of masks to help support. Heartsandsmiles.ca is where you go. Our frontline workers have our backs. It's time for us to have theirs. And we appreciate you joining us on Basketball Central.